Well, El-Sayed, he's out in these tight T-shirts. You have AOC with her pretty smile. She's beautiful. She's got the red lipstick.
Okay. Conservatives are getting absolutely obsessed with progressives in a very weird way, calling them all hot and sexy with their tight-fitting T-shirts, from AOC to Abdul to Zoran Mamdani.
I'm told Mamdani is really good-looking in person, Emily.
It's all very strange, and it's very out of nowhere, but hey, you know what? Call us all hot. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. But in all likelihood, conservatives are doing this because they cannot actually attack us on any of our policy positions because they're popular. So instead, they just attack our looks or our names, like Abdul talks about right here.
I don't believe that we can't have nice things. I'm not willing to pre-negotiate with the opposition who tells us that it's better for us to send our money over there to drop bombs over there than to invest in healthcare here. And my job as your senator is to go and have that conversation everywhere and try to move hearts and minds. That's the job. So how do you get it done? You actually do the work of persuasion. You actually go to the places where people don't expect you to show up, and you have that conversation. And it turns out, I've been all over the state, in places where people don't vote blue, quote unquote. And when you have those conversations with them, I had a guy come up to me, he's like, listen man, I don't like you. I was like, okay. He's like, but I'm gonna vote for you. I'm like, okay. He's like, I think you really want me to have healthcare. I was like, I really want you to have healthcare. He's like, I know, so I'm gonna vote for you. I was like, okay, so why don't you like me? He's like, because you're Muslim. I was like, but I don't need you to like me. I need you to like you.
So not only is Abdul El-Sayed delivering these speeches to Michigan voters on why it's not him, it's about you, it's the voter, it's about delivering, right? But he is also giving us some absolutely amazing ads in the form of attacking Mike Rogers on his connections to flock cameras. I'm sure you've heard of them. They are these spy camera machines in every single major city that have been tracking every single one of your movements and do it at all times. Literally. The ad does unfortunately have some copyright issues with the music, but it goes through Abdul calling out Mike Rogers with using these horrific flock camera systems, being in the pocket of this horrifying company, making it all seem like it's security when it's actually just intelligence gathering. Glenn Greenwald actually reposted this video saying right here, no member of Congress has been a more vehement defender of a ubiquitous warrantless domestic surveillance state than Mike Rogers. He was the CIA and NSA's lead man in the GOP House. Smart of Abdul to highlight this importance of privacy in the US. And just to prove that point, here is a hyper smashed up montage of Mike Rogers loving increasing the surveillance state.
And I credit George Bush and his administration for assembling this new intelligence community. They passed the Patriot Bill that allows and takes the handcuffs off our intelligence services. Policymakers
taking the handcuffs off intelligence
back here use words like illegal wiretap.
The domestic surveillance program of the NSA. It could be abused.
We're already seeing pressure on the Patriot Act that maybe we don't need it now. Couldn't be further from the truth. The bulk telephone metadata program is legal and effective.
This is crazy. I haven't seen this entire thing. He's nuts.
Provisions of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act expire at the end of this month. We need to rapidly reauthorize these provisions, and we need to work toward making these tools permanent as a part of our arsenal.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Restriction, big problem in U.S. intelligence collection.
We're the only intelligence service in the world that is forced to go to a court.
But we always joked in the
how dare we? How dare we have courts, you know, maintain some status quo and hold up regulations.
Programs when they were classified, and I support these programs today.
Wow, that's crazy. So that was an ad that was used against him, and it's crazy. And this guy is clearly scared of Abdul El-Sayed and also just the Democratic Party at large, because as we can see right here, Mike Rogers is actually running away from a debate, right? It's just right here. The Fox station right here has invited both of the Senate candidates to a debate on September 15th, giving them more than a month's notice on August 5th, along with the Michigan Senate Debate Commission sent out invites to Mike Rogers and Abdul El-Sayed. El-Sayed has agreed to debate. Cool. We have yet to hear back from the Rogers team. We've reached out multiple times in the last 2 weeks. We have not received a response. Bottom line, the debate stage is being prepared. A live broadcast is scheduled, and 2 podiums will be present. We are going to get another Ossoff pointing to the side of the empty debate podium moment. I cannot wait. Please, Mike Rogers, do not show up, you absolute ghoul. Because he knows if he shows up, he's going to get absolutely destroyed by El-Sayed. And if he doesn't show up, it looks terrible for him. Because these guys can't actually go in public. It's absolutely absurd. It's going to be so embarrassing. So then they continue on saying, you know, they need to show up for these debates, right? This is a major way to get people to understand. We've apologized to the station that has set up these debates, invited candidates with more than enough notice. And so, yeah, yeah, this is just an embarrassment for Mike Rogers. And I can see why, because El-Sayed is calling him out hella hard right now. And I would not want to be Mike Rogers if I was you, because El-Sayed is cooking with these speeches, with everything going on right now. So let's take a look at some of what El-Sayed has to say about Mike Rogers. And yeah, it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty.
It is clear, just based on his own record, that he is among the most corrupt candidates for U.S. Senate in recent memory, and certainly in Michigan history.
100%.
This is a guy who took more than $5 million from big corporations to run his campaigns while he was in Congress for 14 years. He was actively taking money while voting to do the bidding of those exact same corporations.
Obviously, like, $5 million is a ton of money and insane. It's just crazy to me. Like, obviously, this is crazy. $5 million from big corporations to run his campaigns. It just puts in perspective the amount of money that was put into the Haley Stevens campaign to run against El-Sayed, over $60 million. That it's just like, just puts that number to perspective. This is already an insane thing. And then that was 60. It's
voted, what, 19 times to make sure that you kept paying more for your prescription drugs? Helped to move legislation that expanded the spread of opioids in the midst of an opioid epidemic? Voted to gut options to stand up to big corporations time and time and time again.
Yeah, Mike Rogers sucks.
And the real payoff wasn't just the $5.4 million he took to run his campaigns, but the $14.6 million that became his net worth after he left his job in Congress. Trading on the relationships he built while he was a congressman from this state.
So not only do we know that Mike Rogers is a complete, charlatan, obsessed and corrupt and only cares about money and himself, he has also had some connections to Jake Lang, right? About church. Right here, Lorenzo Sewell hosted racist activist Jake Lang and his church over the weekend. Sewell also hosted Trump, Tim Scott, and Mike Rogers for campaign events in 2024. Sewell is listed as a faith coalition coordinator for Mike Rogers' U.S. Senate campaign. So this guy who's aligned himself with Jake Lang, a white supremacist, neo-Nazi character, is also aligning himself with Mike Rogers. And so Abdul El-Sayed has called this out, saying he's part of Mike Rogers' campaign leadership and he's rallying with an out-of-state January 6th terrorist, Jake Lang, tonight in Dearborn. Will Mike Rogers disavow this? Clearly mirroring the whole disavow Hassan Piker kind of narrative. And he talks about it right here a little bit. Let's make sure that we can see this one in its all beautiful ways, as the conservatives would say, his tight-fitting shirts. Let's take a look.
The last time I saw Jake Lang, he had tried to pull a similar stunt at one of our Canvas launches. And I
We did a
wouldn't
video
have
on
noticed
that
him
if you wanna
except
go check it
for his anklet.
Shameless plug.
Because this is a convicted January 6th terrorist.
Yeah.
And when we realized who he was and what he was trying to do, we also realized that his issue isn't with me or people like me. His issue is with America itself. His issue is with free and fair elections.
Exactly. So that's Abdul calling it out right here, properly, putting attention on this issue that needs attention to be put on it. And just every single day, more and more and more, I think more people are realizing, damn, this Mike Rogers guy kind of sucks. And if you agree with El-Sayed or myself that Mike Rogers deserves to be nowhere near the U.S. Senate, be sure you subscribe to U.S. Democratic Socialists for more news and updates like this. We do progressive news updates pretty much every single day, so be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you're notified when we post. But I think it's going to do it for me. I'm Iago Lashua. Have a good one. Goodbye.